welcome back to my channel. I'm Ginny May, and today I would love to talk about 10 points of increasing etiquette with yourself that you can use in your restaurant or actually out of your restaurant. And the first one is a sense of urgency. If someone is coming into your restaurant acting like, you were waiting for them to come all day, you're so excited to see them, is one of the biggest compliments you can end up giving. And it's such an important part to make people feel welcome when they first come in, and that we really were waiting for them instead of not even acknowledging them at all. Number 2 is when asking for something from a guest or somebody else, always use the word please. And I know please has a word in almost every single language, so whatever language you're using, use the word please when you want something from the guest. And we're thinking, oh, when I want to ask for the bill at the end, or of course say, please pay us $10. No, it doesn't. Of course, it's at that time as well, but it can also be if you need to ask what their name is. May I please have your name? May I please have your telephone number? May I please have any type of information? Say, that comes to $10, please, for example. And I would like to also add, when you use the word please, it makes more impact if you use the please beforehand than after, because sometimes when you use it afterwards, it's kind of like, oh, now I just remembered to add in the please a little bit after. But I know some sentences you need to use it after because that ends up to be a little bit more grammatically correct. Number 3 is that when you are receiving anything from a guest or your colleagues or anybody else in the world, that you always say thank you. It's just a polite thing to do, and it shows that you really care that this person is actually giving you something. It's so polite. Number 4 is if you need to get somebody's attention and they're talking to somebody else and you need to break up the conversation, to always come in the conversation with a, excuse me, may I interrupt your conversation? Or I'm so sorry, may I interrupt your conversation just for a moment? Instead of just bust in and start making eye contact with the person that you want to talk with and then talk with them about that, leaving the other person out of it. So always ask to come into a conversation. Number 5, if you end up going to join somebody at a table or in even an area where there's a couple people already having a conversation because you would like to join them, please do not just come up and join them and start talking in. If you're not quite familiar with them enough to do that, the best thing is to just come up, stand there a moment. When they make eye contact to you, say, excuse me, may I please join you? And of course, most of the time they're going to say yes, just because you asked in such a nice way. Number 6 is if you bring something for somebody in a group, bring something for everybody. I remember my mom always told me, if you bring candy to school, make sure you bring not only to one person, but you need to bring to everybody that's kind of in that group, or maybe everybody in the class. So if you're in the restaurant and someone asks for a napkin and they're sitting with 3 other people, bring 4 napkins and you can offer it. It doesn't mean that you have to leave the napkin or, waste materials like that, but you came down thinking of everybody in the group. So if you bring one for everybody. Number 7 is the world is not interested in what you dislike. So keep all your negative comments to yourself. It doesn't bring anything to your attitude or you as a person. So of course you can think these things, but don't talk out loud about them, because actually nobody's interested and you just end up being some type of energy sucker instead of energy giver. Number 8 is never to comment on other people's physical appearance, unless, of course, it is a positive, and then compliment directly to that person. We need to be really careful in the restaurant business because we see so many people out there, and if we see someone that looks a little funny or a little strange to us, it's easy to go to a colleague and end up saying something to our colleague, maybe even in a code word or something like that. But you know what? Just in case that guest ends up hearing it, they're never going to come back to your restaurant or your shop again. So always keep that behind closed doors, outside the restaurant. And you know what? Just as we talked about in number 7, no one likes to hear your dislikes anyway, so the best thing is just keep them to yourself. Number 9 is foul language. Everyone knows these words, they get a little bit boring, and they don't bring anything to who you are as a person and your positivity. There's so many other words that we can end up using out there, and even just taking words that you would want to use for the foul language. They don't have to be bad words. You can try to change your view or your comment on something into a more positive and use some positive words. It's just going to show out in who you are. And the last one, number 10, is never make fun of anybody for anything. Making fun and teasing other people is not a way to make friends. It's not a way to make a good morale or a good atmosphere in your restaurant. But the best joke to make, if you are a joker and you like to joke, and you may find this out if people like you because they think you're funny, is making jokes about yourself. That's a joke that everyone can end up liking. Again, I'm Ginny May, and I hope that you can use some of these tips and tricks to increase your etiquette in work, in your restaurant, or outside the restaurant. And please leave me a comment below. Let me know, have you tried any of these etiquette tricks? Or do you have some etiquette or politeness that you would like to share with our group? I hope that you have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week, and let's go out and give an amazing service. I'm Ginny May, the Intergalactic Supreme Goddess of Guest Service, and if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel by pressing my face right here. Otherwise, if you'd like to see another video, just press here. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!